And in today's session, essentially, we're going to be talking about how do we create SEO-friendly, production-ready documentation sites for React components. So, really glad that all of you all could join. I think we will be hosting a lot of sessions around React, and this will be the first of many. Uh, Ishak, it'd be great if you can link the article that you also worked on in chat, and
Okay.
we will also share the video of this session as soon as it's ready in a couple of days' time. So yeah, over to you, Ishak. Thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so let me just share that thing first. 1 second. Okay, I've shared that thing in the chat box. Okay, I've shared in the chat box. Okay, let's get started. Okay, how do I start? So, hi guys. My name is Ishak, or some people call me Ishak. So, I'm gonna. Okay, I don't know like where you guys are from. Probably from India. Um, so I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to create Okay, so let's start again, man. Okay, so my name is Ishak, and I'm a final year software engineering student in Malaysia, and I'm a technical writer at Aviyel. So I joined a couple of months ago, and I love React and a couple of other technologies, but I've been primarily writing on React, so which is why I'm gonna show you guys how to create software documentation. But I'm aware that some of you might be watching the recording or something, or some of you might even be absolute beginners. So I'm not gonna like skip any steps or something. But if you're like an advanced developer and you're seeing me like explaining like simple stuff, don't worry, because I want everyone to understand what's going on. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, what we're gonna do today is that, guys, I'm gonna teach you guys how to create software documentation. Okay, but before that, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. How do I share? Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, sure. Can you guys see my screen? Wait, do you guys see my screen? What's going on, man?
Yes, yes.
Okay, is it the background is white? Okay, that's cool. Okay, guys. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna show you guys how to create software documentation. But if you don't know what that is, let me show you. Okay, I'm gonna pull up my Google Chrome, and let's take a look at React. Maybe like documentation. Okay. So this is what a documentation is. Okay, essentially it tells you how to use a tool, a software tool, or a programming language, or a library, or framework. Okay. So this is like a tool called Expo where you can build mobile apps with. Okay. So of course, like for example, if you wanna, I don't know, use a device motion, then you can read this thing, and then like how to use it, and then you've got code snippet. Usually you've got code snippets which you can just copy from. Look like this, you can just copy a code, and then you don't need to like engineer something totally new. You just copy and paste it in your app and then start using it. Okay. So what's the software documentation? It's like a report on how to use a software. Okay. That's what it is. So every tool, every software has got this thing. Like usually, okay. Maybe if you ask me, like, does Facebook have software documentation? Yeah, but they don't show us because like that's an internal tool. You know, I mean that's a proprietary thing. They just like give you that app to use. They don't show you like what's going on behind the scenes. So things like Angular, for example, that's something which you can use to develop, right? So that's why you've got documentation for Angular and things like that. So basically, yeah, it's like a report for software. Now, the thing is that why does this thing matter, right? Why do you need it? Because, of course, like when you create a library or a framework or a tool and you want other developers to use it, you want them to understand how to use that tool, right? And for that reason, you want to give them a good guide on how to use it. And if they like it, they're gonna use it and they're gonna repeat using it and they're gonna tell everyone about it, and then that product, it's gonna be it's gonna get lit. Am I talking too fast? Let me know if I'm talking too fast, because I have like, I don't know, I usually tend to talk fast. But anyway, if your documentation is good, then everyone's gonna start using it. So yeah, so that's why you need to create good documentation. But how do you do it? Yes, of course, like you can code everything, right? Everything from scratch. You can, I don't know, pull up like, let's say notepad or something, and then you can just like import React. I mean, you can type a bunch of stuff, okay, and then you can deploy it. Okay, you can write your own code. Okay, because you're a developer, right? You're gonna start. You want to write your own code, but the problem here is that writing code for documentation, it's, I think it's a waste of time, because it's not like it's not a product. It's just like something to display to users, right? So why do you want to waste time writing code and making it look nice by yourself from scratch, when you've got like super powerful tools which you can use, like Docz? Okay, and that's, so it's free. It's absolutely free. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead to Google, and then I'm gonna search Docz. I'm gonna get here. So this is what Docz is. One second. Okay, that's the tool. This is the tool, Docz. If you see my screen, it has got 21K GitHub stars. That's like a lot if you don't know. On Instagram, it's maybe not a lot, but this is GitHub. It's a lot. Okay. So, guys, you want to create your own documentation, but with minimal effort. So you use Docz, because the engineers, the developers behind Docz, they have put in so much of time trying to create this tool and make it look good. So you don't need to repeat those steps again and again for every tool that you create. You can just use this thing, because this is highly customizable. Okay, that's why you want to use it. And then this is so cool. It's based on MDX. You can read it. You can come over here and then you can read it. It's powered by Gatsby. Gatsby, it's like, if you don't know, it makes your React app faster. It's like a static style generator. I mean, if you don't know, that's cool. But you don't need to know Gatsby to use this tool. Internally, it uses Gatsby, but you don't need to know Gatsby. Or even TypeScript. You don't need to know TypeScript, okay? As long as you know React a little bit, that's pretty cool. And then you've got this, you've got documentation for Docz itself. So Docz helps you create documentation, but also you've got documentation for itself, because every good software tool has got its own documentation. Okay, so now, okay, we haven't even started yet, guys. I'm just like giving you a little bit of introduction, so don't worry about this. I mean, if you're like, if you came in late or something, don't worry. Before I show you, before I start coding and stuff, I just want to walk you through the documentation of Docz, because if you can read this thing, you can navigate Docz or any software. If you can read the documentation, you can navigate it by yourself, and then you can see what you want, what kind of features do you want to implement, and then you can check the documentation for that specific features, and then implement whatever that you want to implement. So yeah, because like as a software developer, you don't want to remember everything. No one remembers everything. I mean, anything at all, pretty much. They just come here to documentation, and then they just like whatever they want to do. Maybe if you want to create a Gatsby theme, so I'm just gonna click this, and then I'm just gonna read it, and then I'm gonna implement it, and then I'm gonna forget about it, because like we're humans and we're not supposed to remember everything. You just need to know the skill to navigate through documentation. So anyway, let's see what kind of things Docz offers. Okay, what kind of stuffs it offers. Okay, so it's fast, zero config, easy to learn. It's very easy to learn, because I started preparing like yesterday or something, like 2 days ago, but I didn't prepare much. But I managed to prepare, because it was easy to learn. It's fast because it's built with Gatsby. Yeah, and then it's easy to customize. MDX based. MDX is like Markdown with JSX. If you don't know, like, it's okay. I mean, you don't need to know this much. So how do you get started? Okay, I'm gonna start coding, but I'm just gonna walk you through the documentation. Okay, so first you install dependencies. Okay, npm. If you use npm, you use this one, this code. If you use yarn, use this one. I think I need to slow down. Okay, so if you use npm, you want to use this code snippet, okay? So what that does is that, I know like a lot of you guys are like professionals, but if in case you're a beginner, usually you would write code and like implement stuff. But sometimes some other guy might have created a small library or a tool which you can use to just help you with your development. So similarly, someone created Docz, like a group of developers created Docz. So instead of you writing and implementing everything from scratch to create the documentation, you can just use this thing. All you need to do is that just install the dependencies, and then you get all the power of Docz, and you can like, yeah, you can use it. Okay, that's what it means. You have React, blah blah blah, and then you've got scripts, whatever. I mean, I'll tell you later on. Yeah, this is good. Okay, everything's good, and then you can deploy it, and you've got a lot of stuff going on. You can read it on your own. Let's just get started. Okay, let's just get started. So guys, the very first thing you want to do is that let's create a folder. Okay, let's create a folder, and I'll name it I don't know, damn, what should I name it? This is the hardest part. Aviyel. Yeah, Aviyel. Yeah, okay, I'll name it Aviyel. Okay, so I'll get into this thing. It's empty. Okay, so what I want to do is that you have to make it a JavaScript project, a Node and React project, a React project, right? Because this is based on React. You want to create documentation, a React component. And for that, you need to have Node installed on your machine. So if you want to verify if you have got Node installed on your machine or not, open your command prompt or git bash or whatever. I'm just going to open my command prompt, okay? And then just type Node, okay? Or Node with a flag of version, okay? Node and then flag of version, or just Node. And then it's going to tell you, okay, you've got Node version 14.17 or something like that. If you've got this installed, if you see something like this, it's good. You've got Node installed. So Node is a runtime environment for JavaScript. If you're confused, that's okay. If you have Node, then you can use React. You can basically build a mobile application, I mean, React application. But if you don't have it, that's cool. Just go ahead to Google and then just type Node and then just download it. Just download the latest version. But if you have Node, that's good. Let's proceed, okay? Now, you see this folder. We need to open a terminal from this folder because you want to write some code, okay? So I can use git bash or command prompt. If I want to use git bash, what I'm going to do is that, because I'm using Windows, I'm just going to click this thing. I'm going to type cmd. Okay, what's going to happen is that you see this Aviyel folder, which is on my desktop, which is in the folder called user, and then whatever. This is the path to my file, to my folder that I created like 2 minutes ago. It's gonna open a terminal in that folder, okay? So whatever code that you write, it's gonna be applied to this folder, okay? Like this folder, okay? Or another way is that you can use git bash. Git bash is it's like the same thing, but it's Linux based, and you've got a couple of like differences. But in this project, it doesn't matter. Or you can use git bash. It's the same thing. I'll just choose git bash because it looks colorful for this demo. But in real life, you might want to use you see your use case. But usually git bash is a little bit good. Okay, so let's make it a React project or like a JavaScript project or a Node project. Okay. What do you want to do? You want to initialize it, okay? So you do this, npm init. That's what you want to do. That means you want to initialize. You want to make it like a React or a Node or a JavaScript project, okay? Because right now it's empty, right? You see this thing? It's empty. I mean, it's nothing, okay? How do you know it's a React project or Node project, okay? You want to initialize it, npm init, okay? You type this thing, click enter. It's going to ask you a couple of questions, okay? This utility will walk you through creating a package or JSON, whatever. What is the name? Aviyel. Is it good? If it's good, click enter. If it's not, just type whatever name that you want. Version 1.0.0. That means like, do you want to consider this as version 0 or version 1? That's like, yeah. Because what this thing is that it's you don't need to know this, but at least for now. But it's called semantic numbering. So I don't I don't know if I have. I mean, I'll just say it. Okay, I'll just say it. Okay. So you've got like 7.8.9. This is called semantic numbering. Uh, 1.0.0. That means one is a major version of your software. It's like a big thing, right? This is a major version, right? Because you started from nothing and then you've got something. It's pretty big. So it's 1.0.0. And then tomorrow, if I have got an error in my project, I fix that small error. It's gonna be okay. No, no, it's gonna be 1.0.1 because that's a bug fix. Okay, and then the next day, if I fix another error, it's gonna be 1.0.2. The next day is gonna be 1.0.3. Okay, but if I want to create, if I tomorrow, if I created a new feature, but it's small, it's a minor release, so I will increase this thing to 1. So what that means is that major.minor.patch. Yeah. If you make a major release, just increase the first number. If you make a minor release, just increase the second number. If you make a small bug fix or patch, just increase the third number. But anyway, let's move on. I'm gonna click enter. Description, you can give whatever description that one. This thing is a demo for an online coding event or whatever. Entry point index.js. That means like the file that's the entry point. I mean, like the main file. What do you want to name it? Do you want to name it index.js? What do you want to name it? You can name it whatever you want. But the convention is that usually people will name index.js or server.js. But I'm happy with index.js. I'm going to click enter. Test command. I mean, if you want to test it, what do you want to write? But we're not doing testing. Git repo, no. Keywords, no. Author, me, but just enter it. I'll just enter it. License, whatever. You can enter it. Okay. It'll ask you, is this thing good? Just say yes, and then what's gonna happen is that it's gonna give you package.json. That means like you remember like everything that we answered, like your name and your version and all of that stuff. You will see it here. You see, entry point is index.js. You've got like version 1.0.0. You've got name and all of that stuff. But this thing is like it takes too much of time, right? You don't want to like answer all those questions because you want to move fast. Okay, what you do is that I have deleted that thing. So this folder has now become an empty folder. So this thing is basically nothing right now. Now we need to make it node project. Why? Because like the previous step, it was a little bit complicated, and then not complicated. It's slow. And I don't want to like answer every question like what's the name, what's the description, and all of that stuff. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is that I want to make things faster. So what I do is that I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open a terminal, CMD. Before this, I use git bash. Okay. Instead of npm init, I'm going to add an additional flag. Flag is something with 2 dashes. Okay, like option. Okay, I'm going to type yes. That means just keep all the questions, just pick what's best for me. That's what it means. It'll like automatically pick what's best for you. It'll create a name, Aviyel. Why Aviyel? Because this folder is named Aviyel, okay? And then it's gonna pick a version, description, and all of that stuff. Okay, everything is cool. It's just gonna pick for me. Okay, if I want, I can go ahead and change it later on, but essentially it has picked for me. Okay, now we want to use it. We want to open this thing, the entire code base, this entire folder, in a code editor like Sublime or like Visual Studio Code or something. I'm gonna use Visual Studio Code. Of course, I can click Visual Studio Code and then like try to open it or whatever. But what you can do is that you can type code space period. That means in whatever your default code editor is, like Visual Studio Code, I have configured my computer to make Visual Studio Code as my main code editor. Okay, so whatever your main code editor is, just open everything. Everything means like dot, period. Period means everything. So just open all the code. Whatever that you've got, just open it in Visual Studio Code. That's what it means. I'm going to click enter. What's going to happen is that, guys, code, or just code or code period or whatever. Okay. I have closed everything on my terminal and my folder, whatever. Okay. what's gonna happen is that it has opened my, wait, what? Okay, you know what? I'll just open it. You guys ignore me. Just follow the same step, okay? What's gonna happen is that it's gonna open uh, my folder in Visual Studio Code. So let me just zoom this in. Okay, so now this is my folder, guys. If you're, it's called Aviyel. That's what I did, right? I made a folder called Aviyel. So you've got this, and then you've got package.json. If you remember, where's that thing? Okay, when I did all that npm init thing, it asked me like, at first it asked me like what's your name and description and all of that stuff, but the second time when I did it like in another way, it didn't ask me, it just like did everything for me, right? When it did that, it gave me this thing called package.json. So, and here if you see, you've got the same thing, package.json. If I click this one, i've got I've got a bunch of code going on. You can see a lot of codes. What that means is that this is your metadata. That means like data about your software. So the name, the version, description. You can add stuff. You can edit it. There's no problem. You can change it. No problem. Okay. But if I wanna, okay, now we don't see anything called dependencies, right? That means like third party, like additional tools or like whatever, like from other people that you download and then you can use it in your software. No, like a library or something. Okay. But if you want, you will see another key value pair. You see all the blue colored stuff, keyword, that's the key. Like name, version, description, main, whatever, that's the key. Whatever in the white, that's the value, key value, key value. You've got key, you've got value. But you don't see a key and value called dependencies, okay? Why you don't see it? Because you're not dependent upon anyone right now. But now we want to install Docz, okay? Why do you want to install Docz? Because I mean, you want to use it, right? So of course you have to install it. So when you install it, you will have a key value called dependencies, and then it's gonna be like Docz, whatever. But I'm not gonna do it manually. I'll install it like automatically. It's gonna take care of it. Okay. So let's just install it. Okay. So what you want to do is that, remember the terminal, guys? I showed you two ways to do it, right? One is using command prompt, another one is using git bash. Now I'm going to show you the third way to do it. I mean, you can use any of these ways, but I'm going to show you the third way. The third way is that, okay, now we're going to install Docz, okay? The third way is that you can use integrated terminal in your Visual Studio Code. That means like the terminal is built inside your Visual Studio Code. So what you want to do is that click Control and backtick. Back, you see number 1 on your keyboard, 1, 2, 3, whatever. You see number 1. To the left of it, there's a thing. There's like a sign. It there's like a key, which yeah, there's like a key beside your 1 to the left of 1. So you just click Control and that key. Once you do that, it's gonna see what happened. It gave me terminal inside my code. Okay, I can use command prompt. I can use git bash. I can use whatever. I'm just gonna use git bash, okay? And I can like type all those npm init and whatever I want. I can type it, okay? So now the terminal is inside my Visual Studio Code, okay? So now we're gonna install. Of course, you can use that command prompt too or git bash like outside your Visual Studio Code. But now I'm just gonna use this thing. Okay, now we're gonna install Docz because you want to use it, right? Let's take a look at the documentation. Even in the documentation, it tells you like, hey, the first thing is npm install Docz. That means like download, I mean, just install it, okay? I think I've wasted too much time talking about like simple stuff. So I'm just gonna go a little bit fast, maybe. I mean, yeah, I mean, ignore me. Okay. So first we're gonna install Docz because you want to use it. So npm install or npm I stands for install. npm install or npm I Docz. So it's gonna install Docz. I'm not sure like how long it's gonna take. Maybe like 1 minute or something. So while it installs, I don't know. Let's take a look at documentation or something. So first you install. Okay, let it install. But meanwhile, let's proceed to the next step because yeah, you can also like execute the second step meanwhile. Okay, let it install. Okay, it's installing over here. Okay, let it install. That's good. But you see in your package.json, you've got like a lot of stuff going on. Okay, I mean, I can close this. If I click close, it's not gonna like stop this downloading process. It's gonna go on behind the scenes, but it's just gonna close it from my view. Okay, you see this thing, guys? This thing is like this file. That is like it tells you a lot about your software, like your main entry point and your description and a lot of stuff. But you can also add script. You see, you've got name, you've got dependency, a bunch of stuff. You can also add script. You know what that means? That means um, instead of typing, you can represent a long comment with short keywords or short comments. Okay. For example, let's say there's a comment called npm install something and deploy something. Okay, this is a long comment. Okay, right? You don't want to type this all the time. What do you do? This is long comment, right? What do? You represent it with a keyword, like maybe like npm do the magic, something like that. And then what is the value? It's that thing, right? Wait, yeah, that thing, right? So this long command is represented by this short keyword. So later on, after this, instead of you typing npm install something and deploy something, instead of that, you can just say npm run do the magic. So yeah, that's gonna be easy for you. So now in case of Docz, what they're saying is that optionally, look, no, this is an optional step. Look what they're saying. You can also add script to make your development experience is a little bit faster and like nice. Okay, so instead of typing like something like Docz build and Docz serve, it's so long. Instead of that, you can just like type this. Of course, you can change it whatever you want, but this is a recommendation from them. So I'm just gonna copy the script. Okay, and just paste it. Okay, I've already got a script. Okay, I can paste it inside of here, but I'm just gonna delete my script because I don't have any script at all. I have a script called which is like this is like a dummy text. It's not implemented yet. Okay, it's nothing, so I can just delete it, and then I'll just paste it. Okay, I've got scripts. Okay, now instead of because I've got the script on my package.json. Instead of like typing something like this, I can type this small keyword. Okay, but okay, so that's what it means. Okay, let's take a look at the my terminal. Okay, okay, it is still downloading. Okay, that's cool. Let it download. Maybe it's my computer or something. I don't know. Actually, you might think like I know a lot of stuff, maybe about Docz, but no, it's because documentation. All while I've been just following this documentation. So the lesson here is that if you know how to read documentation, you can basically be a software developer. You don't need to know a lot of stuff. Okay, you can just read the documentation, and you should get yourself friendly with documentation. Like no matter what your age is, just get yourself friendly. Even if you're bad at reading, and even if you don't read anything at all, or books or something, documentation it's so cool because it's not like a novel book where you read the first page and then the second page and then third and then you go on. No, you just find what you want, click that thing, and then read a little bit and then just implement and move on. That's it. So let's wait for my computer to install. Yeah, okay, it has installed. Okay, it has installed, and then this terminal is now deactivated, so I can type other command. Okay, but let's take a look at my package.json. Okay, what did I do? I mean, I added script, right? Okay, that is cool, but I didn't add these dependencies. But JavaScript or Node.js, it did add for me. Okay, because I installed Docz, right? What is the version 2.3.1? But it should be strictly 2. It cannot be 3 point whatever. It should be 2, but the other stuff can be like 4 or 5 or something, and that's what it means. That's what this thing means. This you don't need to know. That is semantic versioning. If you wanna like find out about it, just Google semantic versioning. If I install other package after this, like Joy, you'll see something like okay, Joy version maybe like 2.1, 3.5 or whatever, something like that. But right now I just got one dependency, which is cool, which is all I need right now. So that's why you see this. So that's okay. So that's what you want to do in package.json. Basically, just install the dependency and then just add the script, which is optional, but just add it, okay? And everything is in the documentation. You can just follow along. Okay. Now, what are we gonna do? We're gonna create documentation, right? Let's bring you here. We're gonna create documentation, right? But you want to document what? You don't have anything at all right now, right? You don't have a website or a component or something, okay? So let's go ahead and create a couple of React components. This is not Docz, this is React, okay? Maybe I will give you like a small crash course, like a mini crash course on how to create React components, okay? This is not Docz, this is React. Why we're doing this? Because if you want to document something, you must have something first, right? You must have like a website or a tool first, which we don't have. So let's go ahead and create that, okay? Actually, I've already written the code for this, so I'm just gonna bring that up. Where's the, I'll put it in my this screen, okay? I hope you can see me, and then I'm just gonna copy this thing. So I'm not doing this like from my, I'm not writing this code from my mind. I'm just copying what I did yesterday. I'm gonna create a new file called index.js, guys. So that's like the entry point, okay? So this is where everything starts, okay? So you wanna build Okay, guys. Okay, you can hear me, right? I'm so sorry, man. Wait, do you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, guys. I'm so sorry because like my PC shut down for no reason. It always does this. I don't know. Like, maybe I should turn off my camera because it's rendering like a lot of things. So I'll turn off. We haven't even started much. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, I told you right. Because like we want to have something. If you want to document using Docz, you want to have a component, right? So let's do that. So I'll just open my. I'm sorry, man. Damn, this is so bad. Okay. Anyway, let's create components. So import React from. Okay, now this is the coding part. Okay, I've been talking for 40 minutes without coding. I'm sorry, man. Okay, import React from React. Okay, because I want to create you know, a component, right? Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna create a component called button. A button component. A simple button. It's gonna be called greet button. And that this is gonna be an arrow function. Okay, if you don't know, like, I'm sorry, man. You have to know React. If no, you can like go ahead and learn React and then come back watch this later on at the recording something. What's going on? Okay. It's gonna have props, but I'm just gonna destructure the props. Okay, destructure it, and I'm gonna grab a message. Okay, and then okay, you know what? I'm not gonna type this, man. I'm not gonna type this. I'm not gonna type this. I'll just copy and paste it. This thing doesn't matter, guys. Okay, I'll just explain what this thing does. Okay, it's gonna return a JSX, which is a button, a normal React button. And remember the message that you destructured earlier in the props? You just put it here in a curly brace. That means it's a dynamic message. So it in the first component it might be hi, the second component might be hello, and then the third component might be like, hey, how you're doing. It can be anything. That message can be anything. That's why you put it in a curly brace, okay? And then on click, it's gonna alert. This is a JavaScript function alert. You see this your Google Chrome browser, whatever. Alert is like you will see like an alert button here, right? I'm sure you would have seen it, but you'll see it later on. So when you click this button, it's gonna alert hello user, and then you've got like your style, okay, background and whatever. So I'm gonna create more components. I'm just gonna copy and paste it because I built it yesterday. Okay, so we have just 4 components, guys, not much. Okay, you've got greet button, you've got counter button. Counter button is like the most basic thing ever. So basically you have a state number and set number, which is initially 0. Okay, which is initially 0. Okay, and then when you click that thing, that's
Hey,
0.
hey, Ishak, sorry to jump in. I think can you just try resharing your screen?
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's not visible right now. Yeah, no worries. Go ahead. Thanks.
All right. Why did you tell me earlier? Okay, that's great.
No, I think it just happened. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, guys, listen. So basically, if you weren't watching me, what happened was that I just created 4 components. That's all. That's pretty much it. Okay, just 4 React components, and then I exported it. That's it. Okay. Now let's get on to the Docz part. Okay. Basically, I created React components. That's it. Okay. Docz is super easy, guys. You wanna know how to use it? You just go create MTX file named whatever it is that you want in the root of your project or wherever you want. So I'm just gonna call this first.mdx. Okay. What that means is that I created a file, MDX file. I named it first. I can name it whatever I want. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is that, of course, you can refer documentation. It's gonna tell you like how to get started. Yeah, it's gonna tell you like this. That's what I'm doing. So basically, this thing is like you start with 3 dash, and then another 3 dash, and then between them you've got like a couple of key value pairs. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, this is like the YAML syntax. kind of like the YAML syntax, but it's not really YAML. Okay, so we've got name, route, and then menu called buttons. Okay, you will see this later on. Basically, what you want to know is that route. The route is /. That means in the root, the home page, it's gonna display this entire file. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna import two things. Okay, import those two buttons. If you want to know, I mean, we've got four components. You've got one button and another button. You've got two buttons, and then you've got a badge and another badge, a big badge and a small badge. So you've got two badges, two buttons. Right now, we are importing two buttons, those two buttons from period. That means like the current syntax. You might be like, okay, why not? Why aren't you doing dot and then /? Because I don't know, it wasn't working. Maybe because it's MDX file, you need to use this syntax like this, the other syntax. Okay, and then from Docz, actually you don't need this thing at all. You don't need this. I'm importing a component called playground. You don't need this at all. You don't need this, and then you can type a lot of stuff, and then Docz will still be able to identify like what's going on, and then it's gonna execute everything. But this playground component, it's a little bit special and so cool. It's probably the coolest feature in Docz. So I'm gonna import it, and then I'm gonna show you later on. Okay. Right now, let's just do one thing. Just do one thing. Okay. I'll name it greet button. Greet button. That's what I just want to give it a name. This hashtag sign, that means like title. Okay, greet button. You can Google it. Like, what is the syntax for MDX, and then you can like figure out what that means. You've got this hashtag and then hashtag or whatever. You've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got this and a lot of stuff. Okay. Right now, we've got this. Okay. Now I have successfully created my first documentation, which is just a title. That's all it does. Okay. Now I want to run this thing. How do I run this thing? Okay. One second. One second, guys. Control-C, Control-V. Just gonna do this. A node. Okay. So now I'm gonna run this thing, guys. How do I want to run this? I want to type npm run Docz build and Docz serve. That's what I want to type. But remember the script? We've got a shorter script right now, right? So I want to use that script instead. So what I want to do is that. First, let me clear the terminal. So to clear the terminal, I can type clear and enter. So it's gonna like make it clean. Okay, now I can move on to my next command. So I want to run this thing, right? npm run Docz :serve. Okay, that means like it's gonna run this thing. It's gonna build whatever. It's gonna build your code and everything. And take a look at this. I mean, keep your eye here. You see node modules. They've got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, just keep your eye there. And let's see what happens. Okay. See what happened? You've got a folder, a new additional folder created by Docz called .docz. What's going to happen is that when you create a code, when you write a code, all of these MDX and index and whatever, it's going to take all of that. It's going to convert that into a build folder. That means like an optimized version of your code. Okay. And then it's going to put it here. It's going to use Gatsby under the hood, but you don't need to know Gatsby. Okay. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. Okay. And then it will try to run this thing. So let's wait for a while and maybe like 1 minute until it runs this thing on browser. I mean, you can see over here, there's so much stuff going on. So you can see what's going on. Yeah, Docz is doing all the magic behind the scene, guys. I think I spoke too much, but it's okay. Build production JavaScript and CSS bundles. Let's just wait. I don't want to like talk much because like I've already talked too much. But yeah, here's the website. You can see what's going on. You can deploy. Yeah, and by the way, I'm gonna deploy. But if you guys think like maybe we don't have time for that, you can tell me like, and then I'm not gonna deploy. But if you want like me to show you how to deploy, I can deploy it. I mean, I'm gonna deploy it. Yeah. If you think like it's too late or something, then yeah, I can like not just do it. Just wait, guys. I hope my computer don't crash, but if it does, we'll just continue in a bit. Because it's the first time, it's taking a lot of, not a lot, but quite some time. So yeah, or maybe it's my PC. I'm not sure, but whatever that is, let's just wait. Yeah, it has done the build. It's gonna finish in like a couple of seconds. Okay. And then if you look at the terminal, it's internally using Gatsby Surf in port 3000, but you don't need to know this. Okay. Okay, look guys, it has now opened this thing in my browser. Okay. So, look, you can now view Docz app in the browser, localhost 3000, right? So I can type localhost port 3000. You see this thing, guys? This is what you get by default. Okay. For the code that you wrote, which is this one, you just wrote this, right? Yes, you did import and all of these stuff, but what you did was that you just did this. I mean, you just wrote this title, right? So that's all you did, right? One line of code. For that one line of code, look at the result. You've got this, and then you've got this. That means like it has grouped everything together. But right now we've got just one button, so you can just see this thing. And then you can type button something. It's gonna work. But right now we just have one component. I mean, we don't have any component at all, so you don't see like what's going on. But I'm sure you can understand what's going on. You can search whatever, and then it's gonna filter out. Okay. And then you've got this name here, and then the best thing is you see this icon. If you click, it's gonna turn into dark mode, and by default you didn't even do anything, and you don't need to do anything. It comes by default, which is so cool. And you can do a lot of customization. You can customize this and this, everything. Okay, but this is by default. You already have a very good like documentation site. Okay, it's just like React or something. Now let's write more code. Okay, let me pull up my okay, so remember guys, I just wrote the title, right? So which is why you saw that thing, right? Great button. But right now, let's actually show the component, okay? So I have imported that button called greet button, right? Greet button, okay? So greet button. But how did I implement it? Is there any like parameter or something? Yeah, there's like you need to pass an argument, a message argument. So let's pass message like message. Okay, bro. Something. Okay, so I have used this component. Okay, I've passed an argument. Message equals okay, bro. Okay, let's reload this thing. Wait, what? Is that important? Greet button. Message equals. What's going on? 1 second. Greet button. Message equals. What about this? Let's try this. Try this. 1 second, guys. Okay. It should appear here. But one second. Let's try using Edge. Try using Edge. Local host.
Hey everyone, I think there's been a slight issue with Ishak's connectivity, so we'll just take a quick break and we'll be back. Thanks for joining.
Hey guys. Damn. I'm sorry, man. Computer is so bad. I'll just share my screen. Okay, where was I? I'm sorry, man. Cause like I don't know, my computer. I don't know. It messed up big time. Okay, so let me just build this thing again. We've got like only 15 minutes left, guys. 15 minutes left. 15 minutes left. I'm just gonna make things easy for you, and then I'm gonna finish this thing up. Okay. I'm gonna build this thing. Let's just wait. Okay. PM run Docz build. Maybe let it build. 1 second, guys. Please build fast. Okay, it has built. Okay. npm run Docz dev. Okay, that means I'm gonna start the server. You don't need to know this because I messed up. Okay. Guys, you don't need to know this. What's going on? You've got an error. Really? Yes, thank you. Guys, let's just wait for it to build. Okay, 1 second, guys. Build. Okay, this thing failed because use state is not defined, and at the same time, you need okay, I get it. Okay, so basically, there's two errors. Okay, I'm just gonna fix it real quick. First, I need import use state, but also I don't want to waste too much time, so I'll just like tell you like what's the problem. The problem is that wait, how do I import node fetch? Import node fetch from fetch. Again, guys. Really? Greet button. This. Guys, 1 second. 1 second. Is it demo app? Then open okay, this is how I import. Okay. So I don't explain much, but this is the fix for it. You can Google it later on, guys. Import fetch from node fetch because the latest version of node it's a little bit messed up. So if you're using the latest version, you'll see some problems. So just use this thing. Okay, so let's run this thing again. Yeah, success rebuilding bundle. Okay, it's gonna rebuild. Okay, so it's gonna rebuild. Let's wait for the rebuild. Maybe is it built? Is it built? Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. Finally, this thing is now built. Everything is good. Look at that button. If you click, I'll greet, right? Let's click. Look, greet, hello user. So let me walk you through if you forgot like what happened. What happened was that I did this in the MDX. MDX is like the entire thing, like the main thing. I imported everything. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. This thing, it doesn't matter. Yeah, the route is like / Okay, that's cool. But the actual code, the actual thing, it starts here. Hashtag great button. That means like the title. So do you see the title? Yeah, you do see the title. What about this thing? This is like you actually using it. Greet button, and then you've got a prop message equals. If you click, I'll greet. So you see this thing. If you click, it'll greet. But there's another component which is like probably the most advanced feature of Docz or something, which is that you've got everything going on, right? Component, but you see this playground from Docz, just wrap your component with playground like this, playground, and then playground. Just do that. Once you do that, do you know what's gonna happen? Oh yeah, do you know what's gonna happen? Okay, look what happened. Under that button, you see additional. You see the code. You will see the code that was used to like sort of activate this thing. That I mean, like, how do you wanna? I mean, like, if you wanna use this button, what do you wanna write? This is what you should write if you wanna use this button. Why? Because here you are using that button, right? What did you write? You wrote this. Create button message equals this. So that's why you see this thing. Why don't you see the actual implementation of grid button like this one? Why didn't you see this on your Chrome, Google Chrome? Look, why didn't you see that? Why? Because why do you see like this thing? Why don't you see this? Because this thing, this implementation, whether like border, like the border radius, stamp pixel, the color white, all of that stuff, this thing doesn't matter. No one cares about this. They don't want to know this. They just want to know how to use this. This is how you want to use this, right? So that's why you see this. But you know what's the cool thing is? This thing is a live playground. So if you change something, you can like see you can see the changes immediately in the browser. I mean, in the you know in the button, you can see. So you can see like how it's gonna look, all of that stuff. Okay, so that's cool. So what else I can do is that playground button. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is that let me copy paste some code. Okay, what about this? What about what about this? This one, this arrow, and then something. So let's reload this. So this is like a like a comment thing. Okay, you can comment on your you know what I'm saying, right? So if I reload this, yeah, you see, change the content for message, and you see see the change button immediately. So you can like give some message over here. Okay, that's what this arrow syntax, not arrow, like it's called chevron. So this chevron syntax, that means like yeah, you will see this. Okay, so let's do the same thing for another button. Okay, same thing. Okay, let's reload this thing, and I see another button instead. You've got counter button, you've got the same thing. You know how this works. But this one, previously you had this attribute, right? Now you don't have it because the implementation is that you don't need an attribute for this. So you don't need like you can't like change something. There's no, I mean, you don't need to change anything. But you can click this and then it's gonna increase. So it's a counter button essentially. Okay, now let's create. Okay, that this is for the buttons, right? You've got buttons, useful buttons. Okay, you can click this and then you'll see this. What about the badges? Okay, so let's add another mbx, second.mbx. Okay, so to save some time, I'm not gonna like write everything. So I'm just gonna copy and paste some code, but I'll explain what's going on. It's just like, I don't know, 10, 15 lines of code, guys. Yeah, 25. Okay. Look, guys, the same thing. Name like amazing badges, and then what's the route? This one, badges. Okay, it doesn't matter. First, you import the badges, and then playground component. This thing is optional, but if you have it, you will also see additional code like this. Like, what was the code behind this button? Okay. So, wait, not this one. My bad. Wait a second. Yeah, okay. The same thing. You've got big badge over here. You've got playground, all of that stuff. Okay, the same thing. It's the same thing basically. So if I reload this thing, now You've got buttons and you've got badges. If you click badges, it's gonna like bring you to badges, okay? I don't know why it's not showing. Let's reload. Okay, you know what, guys? I don't know what's not showing. Maybe it's my computer, but the thing is that if you click badges, it'll show you like. I don't want to waste too much of time, but it's gonna like show you like the same thing, this thing, but it'll show you badges instead of buttons. But I don't know why it's not working, so let's just move on, okay? So that's how you do it, okay, in Docz. Okay, now, so basically that's it. Now let's see how you can deploy it, okay? Let's just deploy this thing, okay? To deploy, okay, let's close this thing, okay, deploy, okay? This is the end, guys. It's gonna end, okay? Let's stop everything. Stop, okay, I'm just gonna like, open a new Git bash and stop the previous terminal, okay? Now, we don't have anything, okay? You just have the code, right? Everything is good. Now you're gonna deploy it, okay? To deploy it, it's so easy. It's like the easiest thing ever, okay? You can use Netlify. Netlify is like the easiest one. So let's go to Netlify. I'll log in. We want to deploy it, right? Let's log in. With my GitHub. Authentication field. Okay, so I will use my another account. Login using email. .com. Let's log in, please. And please. Okay, guys, nice. Okay. So this is Netlify. It's probably the easiest way to deploy your React or like front end website. Okay. So you've got this thing. Let's close everything. You've got this thing. Okay. Now you want to deploy it, right? Look. So what you want to do is that first you want to build it. npm run Docz build. Okay. npm run Docz build. Okay. That means like you want to like pick everything, you want to finalize everything, and then you want to transform that into like .docz folder, okay? You want to put it here in the .docz folder. So you want to run this code. So let this thing build, okay? Sometimes you might already have .docz folder. That's cool. Still you want to build because you want to like update it with the latest code, okay? So let's, guys, I'm gonna, this thing is gonna end like 5-10 minutes, so don't worry. Once we deploy, everything is done. So don't worry about this. You know, to deploy this, it's so easy. I will just wait. I hope my computer doesn't crash. I hope. Let it build. Meanwhile, I'll tell you like Netlify probably. So Netlify is like a website which you can use to deploy your specifically your front end website, like documentation or like a static website or something. Okay. So to deploy, you can take your. How we're gonna do is that you can browse template. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Or you have your GitHub, so you can just like connect your GitHub to this thing, and then it's gonna deploy automatically. Like for example, okay, screw that. I mean, like ignore that. So, so yeah, it has built. Okay, this thing has done building. It has built everything, and then it has put it here in .docz folder. Okay, everything is good. Okay, I'll close this thing. Okay, now we want to deploy it, right? You can use GitHub or GitLab or whatever. We're not going to do that. We're going to deploy manually, okay? So in Aviyel, that's the folder. We had like this first .mdx and index and everything, right? But you see this .docz folder that it created once you build that thing. Okay, you take this thing. Okay, you don't want to drag and drop it here. You don't want to do that. Rather, what you want to do is that you want to go inside, and then you take this distributable dist thing, dist folder. You take this thing and then just drop it here. Once you drop it here, it's gonna like try to deploy your website. Okay. Look, you've got like this thing. Okay, it has published your website. But okay, this is the URL. I can click this thing. So I'll just click this thing. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you see? Okay, now it works. The buttons and the badge and whatever. Okay, now instead of buttons, the badge is now displaying. I don't know why, because like I messed up or something. But see, now you've got like the badge instead. Actually this should be badge, but I accidentally wrote the wrong code. Instead of badge, I wrote button, but it's the same thing, guys. So you've got this thing and then you've got this thing. Yeah, now it's deployed. So you can just copy this URL, go to any browser that you want. Like maybe like let's try Edge. Okay, I can paste this thing. Now this thing is live. Everyone can see it. Okay. So that's how you deploy it. Of course, like now it doesn't look good because like we haven't done anything yet. We just wrote like a little bit of code. But you see, like even with that little bit of code, you can deploy like this good looking website, and then it's functional, and then you can change things, and then you can change dark theme, light theme. It's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, that's all from me. So yeah, guys. Yeah, and I'm sorry for because like my PC shut down a couple of times. So sorry for the disturbance. So yeah, so that's what Docz is. Now you can go ahead to Docz and just read the documentation. Don't be scared. Just be friendly with documentation, and then you can navigate it by yourself, and it's gonna be so easy. And then share it with your friends and yeah, and the programming community that you're in. So yeah, that's all for me. So can someone take over? I guess stop sharing. Okay.
Hey, thanks, Ashok. I think, yeah, despite going up and down, I think we covered a lot of good ground today.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks so much for taking time out.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have a video, an edited version of this as a video going out on YouTube.
Right. Oh, okay.
So yeah, hopefully this is the first of a lot of events with you for the React community and for the Docz community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having said that, thanks so much for joining, everyone.
Right. Thanks, guys.
We'll catch you on the next event. We have another event coming up today, so we'll hopefully see all you guys there. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah.